At first, I didn't watch The Hunger Games. At one point, this Yuan Yun novel became a bestseller. It's about a teenager who becomes the protagonist in a huge epic drama, called Young Adult. It became a hit, and it was made into a movie. It became a very successful movie, and there were quite a few of them. The original novel has faded a bit, and the movie is no longer being made. Then, The Hunger Games is coming out again. I realized that it wasn't a re-release of the previous movie, but a newly made movie. It's called The Hunger Games: Catching Fire and the Ballad of the Snake. Usually when there's a re-release, there's a reboot, which means there's a whole new cast of characters. Which is hard to do because of the nature of the movie, and then there's something that's either a time-lapse from a movie that's done well or something that's older. Most of the time, it's a lot of old stuff because it's a cliffhanger, and it's the same with The Hunger Games. It's set 64 years before The Hunger Games as we know it. The country of Panem had just been created. The Hunger Games were still happening. It's set in about 10 Hunger Games. You could say that the Hunger Games have faded from people's attention over time, that their purpose of ruling people and having fun has faded. In the 10th Hunger Games, for the first time, there's a mentor system. Snow Tom Blythe is the main character, and the story starts when he's a student, and we see how the Hunger Games evolved and became popular. Including the secret that Snow's dad created them. Snow was born into a somewhat dysfunctional family. Most people don't realize it, but he doesn't get to eat properly at home, so he eats at school. If you get good grades and come out on top, you get a prize, and you have an advantage in a lot of ways, and then all of a sudden the system changes. You get to be a mentor in the Hunger Games, and the mentor who comes in first gets a prize, and everything you've worked for is gone, and for Snow, who's been running on that, she's got to get first no matter what. It's the same thing with Panem. It's the same thing with the 12 districts, where they pick people every year to play the Hunger Games, and the person who loses the game dies. Instead, there was less to get the audience excited or interested. Dr. Gall Viola Davis, who conceived and controls the games, must work to keep the Hunger Games going. Gall Viola Davis, who conceived and controls the games, must work to keep the Hunger Games going. Gall Viola Davis, who conceived and controls the games, must work to keep the Hunger Games going. Snow is kind to Lucy Bag Rachel Ziegler, who has been captured from District 12 simply to win, because they are the same person. Only if Lucy wins will Snow be able to claim the prize. It's a somewhat deliberate approach, but Snow feels a humanizing pull to Lucy and gets close to her. Lucy is one of the weakest tributes and has little chance of making it to the end. Snow is recognized by Dr. Gall, who lays out the conditions and scenarios for the Hunger Games to be won. Snow lays the groundwork for what needs to be done in the Hunger Games. Lucy has something else going for her: she can sing, which tugs at people's heartstrings. His singing skills won't get him anywhere in the Hunger Games, but his songs will move people. Snow is willing to cheat to make sure Lucy wins no matter what. However, I'm not sure it's really cheating. Mentors secretly give contestants poison to help them win. Lucy's clever use of Snow's poison keeps her alive, and I don't think there's a rule that says exactly what you can't do, so I'm okay with that. The movie isn't just about the Hunger Games, it's about Snow, the man who completed and synthesized them. The movie is a whopping 157 minutes long. It's basically 3 episodes after the end of the Hunger Games. Snow becomes a peacekeeper and goes to District 12, and what she sees there convinces her. The world is going to be normal, and normal is totally in Snow's wheelhouse. There's a phrase she says over and over again. I think it's because it's called snow, and they say it falls at the highest point, not from the highest point. Maybe it's because after a snowfall like that, the lower points melt quickly, but the higher points don't. Maybe it's because people don't go there. Snow gives up everything for love, even though he's supposed to be raising a family. He's been through a lot with Lucy, and he's fallen in love with her, which is why he went to District 12 when he became a peacekeeper as punishment. I gave everything for love, but what I got back was different. Everyone throws everything at love when they're young. In all of my films, the protagonist does that, and then as they get older, they do something different. And that's what happened in Hunger Games: The Ballad of the Singing Bird and the Serpent. Honestly, I wasn't sure whether to watch it or not, but I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. If you just watch this movie, you don't feel like Snow, the total villain in the Hunger Games, at all. Although there's an older Snow's voice at the end that says, "No, you don't."